Sit with Joyful Parenting Coaching, where stressed out parents get the skills they need to create the happy, harmonious homes they desire and deserve. So, what is not happy and harmonious is when we are giving punishments to our kids instead of consequences. So, absolutely. We want to hold our kids accountable for the changes that we want to see, the shifts that we want to see, the behavior that we want to see. Punishment is not the answer, however. Punishment is about shaming and blaming and making a person feel worse. You don't have to think about that very long. Do you behave your best? Do you make your best choices when you're feeling ashamed or when you are taking all the blame? Like, it's all my fault. No, that's a very contracted position to be in. We want to expand, and a consequence is there to help us teach. It's to bring a little attention to something. It's to let a child know that we are really pausing here to do something. Now, in general, natural consequences are great. If there are situations where we can use the natural consequence, wonderful, right? Like, oh, you forgot your jacket and now you're cold? I'm sorry. I guess next time you'll remember your jacket. Your lunch is still sitting on the kitchen counter when you go to pull it out of your backpack at school. Ah, bummer. Maybe your friends can share with you. I'm not driving across town to deliver it right now. That doesn't work, right? So those are just natural consequences. Those aren't punishments. Sometimes, however, when we're really trying to shift behavior and we're really trying to teach something, we need to kind of set a line in the sand where there is a kind of consequence. All right, let's go back to the fact that discipline means to teach. And if we want to teach something, then we have to first give the child the skills that he or she needs, that they need to meet our expectation. So let's say, for example, that you're trying to get a child to stop being so physical or to stop using insults and put downs in order to get their way. And you want them instead to be able to communicate effectively and peacefully to let others know how they feel and what their preference is. That's a teachable moment. It's also a skill. It takes skill and practice to learn how to use nonviolent communication, how to use peaceful, constructive communication. I'm sure it's a skill that you are still working on in some situations. I am still working on it in some situations. I've gotten a lot better in my ripe old mature age. And at the same time, when I'm upset, right? My go-to is usually still kind of snarky sarcasm. Not so much insults and put down, just little digs. That is not me at my best. And when I'm working to be at my best, what I'm reaching for are communication techniques like I statements, right? An I statement is an awesome pattern to teach your child. Remember, Johnny, when you knocked down my tower, it hurts my feeling because I worked really hard on that tower. I would like you to please build your own tower or ask if you could knock down my tower. Sometimes it's fun to let somebody else knock down the tower, but you want them to ask first, right? Teaching an I statement is a concrete skill. So let's say that we're moving a child from using physical violence or put downs and really negative language to a more constructive way of asking for what they want and need. So first, we're going to teach them. We're going to say, kiddo, I see that you have been really struggling with being peaceful and getting what you want and need. And at the same time, now it's great to use an excuse for something. now that, now that we're coming out of COVID and we're kind of getting back to normal, or now that you're a big boy because you finished kindergarten and you're ready for first grade, right? We need new skills for first grade. Now that you're about to turn 13, it's really time to learn how to speak constructively. So we're going to be practicing that, and I'm going to be working on it with you. And you're going to do some teaching sessions where you go through scenarios like, okay, what if somebody gets you really mad for this reason? What could you say to them? After you've done some teaching, you're going to start a new say. You're going to say, okay, you're getting the hang of this, and now I really expect you to use it. So starting on Monday, when I hear you, if I come in and if you're not using your words, if you're hitting somebody, or if your words are not kind, I'm going to give you a choice. And this is going to be the choice. The choice is you can use an I statement, or you can ask for help, right? They might still feel like they need help. So that is a consequence, right? That's a clear line in the sand. If they are not able to use the I statement or ask for help, then there's a then, right? So if you are not able to do this or this, then that tells me you're going to need more practice, and you and I are going to sit down and we're going to write out a list of possible I statements you could use. Okay, so notice how the consequence of sitting down and writing I statements is directly related to what it is I am trying to teach, what it is I am trying to change. So I've taught a skill. Now I'm setting the expectation that it's going to be used with the choice of you still can ask for some help. But if a child is mad and out of control and they can't do that, they can't choose between trying an I statement or asking for some help, then the consequence is going to be, all right, we're going to be sitting down and we're going to be working on this. Now, there's another possibility here, and that is that a child is too upset to even do it. Like they're truly mad. Then maybe the skill was just missing is a calm down technique. And I have to back up. One moment, I'm going to pause and look at my comment. How much connection should middle school parents attempt when tweens seem to want only space? Give them all the space they want, or just wondering your thoughts about it? Yeah, so it's a balance. It's a balance. If it's something which you really need to be clear about, like let's say that what we're trying to teach or the consequence that we're trying to do is take a shower, right? They might want a lot of space around taking a shower. And at the same time, you really don't want a stinky, gross kid around you. And so the way to give some space is to say, kiddo, how often do you think a shower would be an appropriate thing to do? And I'm like, oh, get off my back. I don't need to shower. Like, no, I'll just shower once a week. You know what? Once a week really isn't going to do it for me. Your body's changing. You're really stinky. I would like to see us get it up to 3 times a week. What? That's like so unnecessary. That's not going to happen. Yeah, right now you're turning 12. 3 times a week needs to happen. So what do you think the schedule should be? And then if I'm getting a lot of pushback, I might say, well, give some thought as to how you can work that in and how you can make it okay. We'll talk about it on Sunday and see if we can come up with a plan. If on Sunday you can't come up with a plan, then I always say, what I say is on Sunday, bring a plan of what it's going to be. If you can't think of a plan, this is what it's going to be. So I'm still putting the limit in place. I'm still holding the limit, but I'm giving them both space to think and space to come up with their own plan. Let's say they walk in the door and they're super upset about something, right? They slam the door, they throw it on you go, hey, what happened? What are you? I don't want to talk about it. And they go into their door and they slam the door. Right? now you've got a backpack on the floor, you've had a door which is slammed, you've had a lot of kind of big angry energy in the house. Definitely would give them, you know, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes to calm down. I would probably next try to entice with some food or a snack. Like, hey, I know you've had a bad day. We don't have to talk about it right now if you don't want to, but why don't you come get a snack? Go away. I just want my space. Well, sweetheart, I'm guessing that what you're feeling right now is partly upset and is partly anger, and so I'm going to give you like another 15 minutes. Then I'm going to ask you to come out and uh, say hello and see where we are with the day. You don't have to talk about what you were upset about, but we need to move on with the day. So, right, because there's homework to be done, and you need to talk to them about the fact that it's grandma's birthday this weekend, and you need them to not just hole up in their room. But you're kind of doing this balance of back and forth of space. Eventually, like if you have a kid who's really refusing to do something, really refusing to come out of their room, again, you could put the consequence, right? Like this is what it's going to be, but you want to give it out ahead of time, and you want to have it be as related as possible. So I noticed when you came in, you slammed the door, you threw your backpack down, you had had a really bad day. And I get that. Things can be pretty overwhelming right now. And at the same time, I expect you to start learning ways of handling your big feelings and or recovering afterwards. And so we're going to be working on that. So whether it's like little kids or bigger kids, we want to focus on the skill that they need, right? And believe me, middle school kids, what's different between like a 3-year-old tantrum and a 13-year-old tantrum is that the 3-year-old is just having the tantrum. The 13-year-old is having the tantrum and has this other little voice on their shoulder, which is going like, you are behaving like a child. You're being completely ridiculous. But the main part of them is just overwhelmed. The hormones have taken over, right? And it feels like an alien has taken over their body. So good place to remind them, not when they're upset, but some other time, it's good to remind them, hey, kiddo, do you know what's happening to your body? Like, did you know that your feeling center, your amygdala, is like getting swollen and big, and that your prefrontal cortex, which was actually doing a better job of serving you when you were 9 or 10, is now under construction? And so your body's kind of doing a whammy on you, because when you react like that, it's because your amygdala is there and throbbing, and you don't have your reason center to come in. And at the same time, that's something I expect us to work on. So we get to still hold the standard. We just don't necessarily expect it to be met in that moment, right? I used to be a camp counselor. 6 summers I was a camp counselor, and they seemed to always give me the 12-year-olds. And I remember saying, like, you can be 12 and not be a complete jerk to each other. Like, it is possible. Right? You can be 12 and repair a relationship by going back and apologizing. Yes, we have that moment, that outburst. At least we have to begin the process of making amends, which is another great consequence, right? Making an amends is a great consequence. So kid comes through the door, they slam the door, they throw down the backpack, they go into their room. When you finally get them out, they can certainly pick up their backpack, and they can also, I don't know if they can fix the door, if they could do it, but you could have them kind of go and check and say, hey, go check out that door, please, and make sure it's okay. Because honestly, that's not the way we treat doors. Could you check and make sure that all of the pegs are fully in, that the door handle's still okay? We can use humor too, right? We can go like, you need to make amends to that door. Could you please go apologize to that door? Mom, you're so weird. Yes, I know. Please go apologize to the door. Right? Just to have them take that little extra step, just to put that little space in their brain of like, Okay, poor door, poor door. I didn't mean to slam you. Just to give them that little next piece when they come in and remind them. Okay, I don't want to go on forever, and I've gone on much longer than I wanted to. Think about how to stay away from punishment and think of consequences as I am teaching skills and I am giving them a chance to learn them. And then I am putting a line in the sand where I'm saying after this point, you are going to be, the choice is to use that skill or go practice it some more. We're going to get creative about how to practice it. It's Friday, my friends. I hope you're having a great Friday, and it happens to be the Friday before Mother's Day, so I hope you have a fabulous Mother's Day.